If you're thinking about buying or selling a house right now, you're not alone. The housing market has seen a lot of unusual trends in the past couple of years, and it's no surprise things have been pretty weird. And it makes sense that you'd want the latest update on what'll happen in the market before you decide to buy or sell. The truth is, housing market predictions are about as reliable as weather forecasts. The real estate pros make their best forecasts based on data, but no one can know what's going to happen with 100% accuracy. Home prices have continued to surge despite higher mortgage rates and a slight increase in housing supply, factors that typically put downward pressure on prices. But the numbers show the market is still resilient, even if it's costly. The median home sales price is $428,700 as one of the first quarter of 2022. That's a 30% increase from 2020 when the median was $329,000. Some of that decline may be seasonal as the housing market slows down in the fall months. What's more, the median home price in August was still nearly 8% higher than a year ago. These higher housing costs have taken a toll on home shoppers, as mortgage applications remain at their lowest level in 22 years, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. Real estate market in 2022 in the third quarter of 2022. That said, home prices are pretty much determined by supply and demand, and since there's still strong buyer demand and a shortage of homes for sale, prices aren't going to plummet. They're softening a bit, but they'll still be higher than what they were at the start of the year. The median sales price of existing homes was $403,800 in July. That's up to 10.8% from the year before. Total home sales are down for the year, and Fannie Mae predicts home sales should drop 16.2% by the end of 2022. But does that mean we're in some kind of housing recession? Well, kind of, but a housing recession isn't something to really worry about. According to the National Association of Realtors, we're in a housing recession due to 6 months of declining home sales and home building. But home prices are not in a recession. Keep in mind, 2021 was a record year for sales. What we're seeing now is home sales volume returning to normal, pre-pandemic levels. Will house prices go down? Heading forward, the investment bank now expects US home prices to fall 7% by the end of 2023. On one hand, that's far smaller than 27 peak to through decline the country experienced between 2006 to 2012. On the other hand, it's twice as large as the 3.1% peak to true decline posted in the early 90s. Here are some predictions of what's in store. The market does seem to be cooling. However, with higher mortgage costs, US home sales are down over 20% from a year ago. And last month, the median price for an existing home in the US dropped from a record high of $413,000 to $403,000. That's a lot, according to the National Association of Realtors. But considering that median home prices have soared by nearly 36% since the pandemic began, a 1-month price reduction of around 2.4% can be seen as more of a market adjustment than a significant decline in value. Housing prices are still expected to be up 11% for 2022, followed by 2% in 2023. That's according to NAR's most recent forecast. This follows similar forecasts by Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, and Zillow, which predict positive, albeit slowing, price growth in 2022 and 2023. And despite the decelerating price growth, median home prices are still up to 10.8% from a year ago, according to NAR's data. Interest rates. Skyrocketing US house prices will rise at their weakest pace in more than a decade next year as worsening affordability dents demand, according to analysts polled by Reuters, who said prices need to fall in double digits to be reasonably valued. A frenzy for homes in short supply over the past 2 years during the pandemic, backed by near-zero interest rates, has inflated house prices by over 40% during that time, shutting out many first-time buyers. But with rising mortgage rates following a cumulative 225 basis points of interest hikes by the US Federal Reserve since March, and more expected over the coming months, a slowdown was inevitable in a sector highly sensitive to the cost of borrowing. The August 12th to 30th poll of around 30 property analysts showed average US house prices would rise 14.8% on average this year, slower than the current pace of around 20% but higher than the May poll's prediction of 10.3%. Interest rates fluctuate daily, but overall they're about 3% higher than they were 6 months ago. This stings because it means new buyers entering the market will end up paying thousands more dollars in interest on their houses over time. Higher interest rates also drop your purchasing power, meaning some homes will be priced completely out of your budget. Keep in mind, these numbers will keep changing as the experts crunch new data. But the bottom line is that home sales will continue to slow down, interest rates will continue to go up, and home prices will end 2022 up, but at a lower percentage than in 2021. Housing inventory. Total housing inventory in the United States averaged 2,307.35 thousand from 1982 until 2022, reaching an all-time high of 4,040 in July. That's 2007, and a record low of 860,000 in January of 2022. And while home builders are confident, they'll keep doing plenty of business in the rest of 2022. That doesn't mean buying a newly built house will be easy. Rising lumber prices, supply shortages, and even government tariffs are making it crazy hard for home builders to build enough to keep up with demand. So inventory is low across the board. That said, there's nothing to suggest prices will decline in affordable markets. Of course, forecasts don't account for unforeseen events like geopolitical conflicts or worsening supply chain issues. It's possible that home prices could decrease, but with stabilizing mortgage rates and some job creation, home prices should be also stabilized. That would be it for the video. If you enjoyed it, kindly hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.